These are the highlights from Fox Raceway round 1 of Pro Motocross. That's how the day unfolded, the first 30-minute and 2-lap motos of the season. 450 Moto 1. Well, Hondas have been nailing starts in this championship the last 2 years, and they almost nailed each other. The Lawrence brothers off the start, but still 1-2.
Yeah, a little brother-on-brother crime right there. Jet Lawrence wanted to be out front. He mentioned how hard it was to pass, and clearly, how would he know? He didn't have to pass anybody today, but history would say, when you let this guy out front here, he's going to be tough to beat. And this was the moment, first moment of the race. Chase Sexton pulling off his goggles. I mentioned he was not freestyle. He's supposed to have both hands on there, but him pulling off, a little dirt in the goggles, and then his race only went south from that point. It was tough for him to see. A few mistakes that was making. This was Hunter Lawrence getting around him, and then this was Eli Tomac right behind him, and Chase goes down. Looks like he hit neutral, hits his stomach, and comes out with a shoulder injury. We saw him laying there for a little bit, thought maybe it was just wind knocked out of him. You can see him talking to his mechanic, and he was like, no, going back, and we thought he just recovered for the second moto, but not to avail, no more.
And then Cooper Webb coming off the Supercross championship, riding most of the moto with a smoking motorcycle, then eventually let's go.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you had the top 2 in points, your defending champion or Supercross champion, and Chase Sexton, both of those guys are out, and then the top 3 in this moto, these guys have been on the couch. So just shows you how quickly things can change in racing.
No doubt. Jet Lawrence wins again. He's won every 450 moto he's ever raced here, led every lap. Moto 2, an unbelievable hole shot from Hunter Lawrence. Watch Jet in that high-vis green gear go for the #1 spot quickly.
Yeah, he was trying to go after his brother. They put a little bit of water on the track. You could probably hear that Yamaha behind him, Eli Tomac. And look, Hunter, older brother, you're sitting there taking your time. Excuse me, I'm going to go past you just like I did in the first moto. I'm out of here. But Eli Tomac had something else to say about that one.
Yeah, better start for Eli in this one. He's 4th early, and then he goes to work on Plessinger and Hunter Lawrence.
Yeah, they were that close this whole race. You know, Eli at this point, this was like the second lap. You could tell Jet was out front. Eli didn't want him to get away. That was actually a nice line, a little bit different line than he was actually taking towards the end of the moto. But man, the race was on, and he almost got Jet at this point. I would say he did make that pass, and then Jet rails this outside, gets back down on the outside of him. Eli did his best to try to get around him, but number 18 was just so strong in places where it was. And then this was the battle all moto long. Hunter Lawrence going around the outside. AP goes up the inside, tries to make a pass. Hunter said, no mas. AP just stays behind him, and you heard him say this is one of the hardest races of his life, battling behind these guys. But this was the race up front, Jay.
Oh, so good. Tomac, he would gain, he would lose, he would gain, he would lose. They just kept pressing each other.
Yeah, they were pressing him, and nice to hear Jet some little insight of what he knew where he was and where he was strong at. This is the last lap. Hunter Lawrence makes a mistake. As he said, it was a punch in the gut for sure after that hard fought. You know, nonetheless, he still ends up on the podium, but his brother, you know, he might have better starts to him, but Jet has better finishes at the moment.
Last 2 laps, Jet was able to pull away. The first 30 minutes were incredible, and you see how much this comeback from injury means to Jet Lawrence. Tears, and now the podium celebration with Tomac and his brother. And yeah, man, as this sport changed in a hurry, again, 3 riders who were not even riding a couple of months ago, and then the 2 riders who were on top in Supercross only got 1 moto finish between the 2 of them in 2 motos. Tomac 2nd overall on the day, 4-2. And shout out, by the way, to Justin Cooper, who finished 2nd in Moto 1, not quite as good in Moto 2 with an 8th, but he showed he could be a podium runner all season long as well. Because this has not really been a very good track for Justin Cooper through the years in his 250 career either. So see what he has to offer next weekend at Hangtown. Aaron Plessinger just misses the podium by 1 point, 4th overall. Prado making his debut in Pro Motocross in America, the 2-time and current MXGP World Champion 6th, Anderson 7th, Sabachi, Hampshire, and Pat Terrell. Great to see the Suzuki there in the top 10.